I know it isn't, but we have to, and that's, primarily why I put it in the report, is to say, and I wish other people have other names than carbon tax for it because they're trying to get away from that tax word. But we have to have discussion. Everybody, there is a broad consensus in the world and amongst business that we have to put a price on carbon. So standing off and saying we're not going to participate in any discussion because we're afraid of the word tax, it isn't productive. We're going to have to face up, and cap and trade is not coming together. Cap and trade is pretty much has to happen on a continental basis, if not global, to work. And it's just not coming together in the United States for 2 or 3 or, I'm told, 3 to 4 years by estimates of American context I have. So we're looking way out there. This carbon tax kind of discussion should be had. It's working in BC. A government stood on it for one election, at least in BC so far. I appreciate it's under attack, but at least we should have the public discussion. We can't sit back and put our head in the sand and not talk about these tough issues like transportation demand management and how we're going to put a price on carbon. Well, I hope not. That's, and I'm trying to. One of the things that the environmental commissioner can do is push things up for discussion on the public platform, and I'll keep doing it because it is an essential discussion. I think and really let's environment's very important, but let's just take this to the economic level. This is important for the economy of Ontario. The carbon pricing is going to happen. We can be takers of policies, or we can influence those policies, and I think we'll be forced with the coming price of petroleum and the issues of greenhouse gases will be our car-based transportation system will have to change. Again, we can be out in front of those issues. We can have those discussions, find out what's plausible and palatable in Ontario, or we can sit back and wait till we're swept away by initiatives that are happening in greater North America. Let me say right off the bat, in 2007, they set these targets, 6% below by 2014 and a 1990 level base, and 15% below by 2020. Good targets made in good faith from what was known in 2007. It's 2010, and there's been a lot of development in the international scene in terms of the science and looking at these things. And quite frankly, things are far more serious in climate change realm, and we know things are happening much faster, and we know more about how systems are working, and we have to move to actually reduce the global concentration of carbon dioxide. So in that world, let's look at those targets. Notwithstanding, we're having trouble meeting the 2014 target and probably the 2020, but we have to look at those targets, see if they're realistic, see if they meet the necessities of the world situation, and then, if we have to make tougher targets, we come to that conclusion, then we have to have tougher initiatives, and that's the logic of the discussion. I think sitting back on 2007 targets at this time and not re-examining them, puts us in a position of being out of step with what's happening in the global discussion. No, more aggressive. We have to get down. We have to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in the global atmosphere. So that means 6% below 1990 and 15% below 1990 by 2020 are not very aggressive targets. They probably should be much lower.
But we can't meet those anyway, right?
I didn't say we can't meet. I said the projections that we're not meeting them, and that's a big difference. I mean, we're 10 megatons. The new national inventory report came in, and in 2008 we came in 10 megatons less than 2007. So we can do things, and we could do more aggressive things. But I'm trying to create the urgency of this. The situation is getting worse, not better. The urgency is increasing, not decreasing. Well, they have a plan. That's good. Not every jurisdiction has a plan. Their 2007 targets were good at the time, but I think they've been overwhelmed by events, and they have lost momentum. And so, I give them points or credit for having a plan and trying to move forward. They've clearly lost momentum. As the points you point out, the Metrolinx decision, the stalling of the declining to discuss transportation demand management on the roads. These kind of things lost momentum, and at a time when world events are accelerating the need. And so that's my concern. I don't know if it's normally, as government initiatives, you know, they have, we're making a decision about, I mean, our government spending's not going down. I see the economy's going down, but our government spending's not going down. So they are making decisions and priorities in terms of how we express our wealth in a society. And we've made a decision to constrain in these areas. So I'm not sure I mean, we're spending more money than we spent last year.